Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ox Talk. It's Friday, August 9th, 2024. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the show today. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button for me, the bell notification. Most importantly, please share these videos with family, friends, co-workers, colleagues, everybody that you can think of. Please plaster these videos on your social media as many places you possibly can so we can get the word out about what is unfolding in this economy, and a couple things I'm going to address with you today and share with you if you're not already aware about what is happening across the globe. It seems like everything is just being ravaged by conflict, by war, by death, destruction, mayhem. It's easy to become desensitized to some of this stuff and to see these news articles and they kind of gloss over them and go on to the latest and greatest, whatever it is that's got our attention. But I wanted to share with you something that is been unfolding this week and is kind of coming to a head with the Russia and Ukraine conflict. It's kind of been a little bit on the back burner as of late because the Iranian and Israel conflict has taken a front seat. Obviously, the stock market sell-off in the United States and around the world took front and center early part of this week. That obviously now apparently has gone away. You're not hearing anybody coming out saying that we're in a recession or heading to a recession. I saw something a little while ago. Jamie Dimon now is out saying, "Hey, everything is fine. I didn't mean what I said earlier in the week." So everybody is walking this back now, and evidently everything is just fine. Guys, it is a head fake. I would not fall for it. Exercise caution with whatever you are doing with your finances, whatever assets you're buying. Just use discretion and use caution because we are not being told the whole story. All right. And we have to be very, very cognizant of the fact that this could just very well be a dead cat bounce with regard to the markets, with regard to cryptos, gold, silver. We know what's unfolding. We know what's happening with consumers. On the second part of the video today, I'm going to address the massive job cuts and continued job losses and firings are taking place across all sectors of this country. I'm going to go through those with you. I have three separate articles to discuss with you having to do with the job cuts that are happening now. Okay, if you guys are impacted by these cuts, I hope you're not. If you are, please leave a comment below so we understand where you're at and what area what your job is. Okay, but let me first address this article out of Zero Hedge I saw just a little while ago. It's entitled "Pentagon Refuses to Rule Out Strikes on Moscow in Shocking Exchange on Ukraine's Incursion into Kursk, K-U-R-S-K." The Pentagon on Thursday was asked by a reporter during the daily briefing whether Ukraine forces' use of American weapons in its ongoing Kursk incursion is consistent with U.S. policy of what Ukraine can and cannot do with U.S. weapons. It's become clear that Ukrainian troops are currently using American weapons to attack Russian territory, troops, civilians, and infrastructure. The article says we've entered incredibly dangerous times in this major proxy war when the Pentagon's daily press briefing is openly talking about strikes on Moscow. The Ukrainian cross-border offensive, which may have involved up to 1,000 men, began early Tuesday morning and was led by fast-moving armored vehicles which were able to penetrate up to 10 kilometers into Ukraine. Moscow says it has observed U.S.-supplied equipment being utilized in the attack on Russian soil. And there was some video data that showed that there was a U.S.-made Bradley infantry fighting tank that was destroyed. The intel further showed that dozens of armored vehicles breached the border and were operating inside Russia amid a major response to push out the invaders, which has included air power. So, guys, this is escalating as well, okay? And the question you've got to ask yourself is, when does the red line get actually drawn and enforced? I mean, Putin's been out before saying, look, if we get evidence that U.S.-made weapons are being directly used, especially on Russian soil, there will be a response. So we might think, like I said, easy to be desensitized to this. We might think that this stuff is happening across the world and will not affect us. Look out the window right now and be blessed and thankful that you have a clear sky, you have a safe place to be today and to sleep. Many people around the world do not. They're living in constant fear of bombs dropping, of death, of mayhem. Very, very sad. And we also have the situation with Iran threatening a massive retaliatory attack on Israel. United States, once again, like we're saying to Ukraine, we're going to support Ukraine, against Russia. We're also pledging support for Israel against Iran. If that, not if, but when that escalates. We know what's happening right now in the United Kingdom with the protests and the censorship. That place is burning down as well, so to speak. So, what area of the globe right now is there not conflict and war and not just minor disagreements or scuffles, but major conflict? So again, I know a lot happening, in the homeland that we are obviously takes our attention every single day. But I just thought it was worth on a Friday afternoon to summarize a couple things here that we all know are happening. We oftentimes over the weekend things go to the next level when the markets are not open. Correct. So I'm not saying that. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not professing to be a political scientist or an expert in geopolitics. Just reading the same stuff that you guys are. And I thought I don't discuss that a lot on this channel, but it is very disheartening. Okay. So let me jump into another depressing topic, but again, it is reality, and that is the job losses and layoffs unfolding in mass across the United States. First article on Zero Hedge, Cisco prepares second round of layoffs amid increasing AI skepticism. According to Reuters, citing people familiar with the matter, Cisco plans to cut thousands of jobs in a second round of layoffs. These cuts could be similar in scale to the 4,000 layoffs in February and may be announced as early as next Wednesday. If you guys are associated with or work with Cisco or have any family that does, leave your comment below. What are you hearing? What's going on? Cisco is the largest maker of routers and switches that direct internal traffic. The company announced plans to deliver AI infrastructure solutions to data centers with NVIDIA earlier this year. But sluggish demand and supply chain constraints could indicate an emerging slowdown in building an AI compute-based environment. The latest data from Bloomberg shows Cisco employed around 84,900 people as of July of 2023. That number does not include the February layoffs that was first reported. It says, in early July, Goldman's Allison Nathan said, despite the rising spending trends in data centers, chips, and other AI infrastructure and the power grid by companies, this has yet to translate into efficiency gains among developers. And the developing theme, it says, is that the investor enthusiasm about potential financial returns from AI has shifted to skepticism. All right, so trillions in market cap have been gained by the big seven. We know the biggest bubble in history has yet to produce tangible returns. Potential Cisco layoffs, which would be the second round of the year, are an ominous sign for the stability of the AI bubble. And it's not just the AI bubble, okay? It's not just those stocks if you're invested in those stocks. This hits almost every sector of this country. Let's talk about Stellantis. This is out of CNBC earlier. Stellantis is laying off 2,450 plant workers due to discontinuation of Ram Classic pickup truck. And this says, Detroit automaker Stellantis plans to indefinitely lay off up to 2,450 U.S. factory workers later this year as it discontinues production of the older version of its Ram 1500 pickup truck in Michigan. The truck, which is produced alongside the Jeep Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer, has been largely used as a low-cost pickup to sell to entry-level buyers and fleet customers since the automaker introduced a new generation of the Ram 1500 in 2018. So interesting. Why would they be discontinuing one of the lower-cost pickups that's been used for entry level and fleet customers, right? That, from my perspective, signals they know a slowdown in certain segments is fast approaching. With the introduction of the new Ram 1500, production of the Ram 1500 Classic at the Warren, Michigan truck assembly plant will come to an end later this year. Okay, so another 2,450 U.S. factory workers are going to be without a job coming pretty quick. The next article I'll share with you is from the Economic Times today and says layoffs pile up in U.S., Canada as companies' uncertainty of the economy. So you might have the Jamie Dimons and some of the talking heads out there saying, well, look at we're now reevaluating everything. The economy is strong, the consumer's strong, the markets are strong, production is strong, manufacturing is strong. But then you look at what I'm about to share with you right now, and all this article does is summarize. It says companies in the United States and Canada have continued their job cuts in 2024 after letting go thousands last year, as the outlook on interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve remains uncertain. Here's a snapshot of job cuts announced so far this year. And I just want to read this list to you. I know I'm reading here. I apologize for not giving you as much comment and analysis, but reading this list for me drove the point home of what is really unfolding behind the scenes, okay? I'm just going to start from the top, and it's several pages. Hopefully it won't take me too long, but I want you guys to hear this, all right? Amazon's job cuts include 5% of employees at the Buy with Prime unit, 5% of audiobook and podcast division, Audible, several hundred in streaming and studio operations, 35% at streaming unit Twitch, a few hundred at healthcare units, One Medical, and Amazon Pharmacy also announced layoffs at Amazon Web Services, impacting several hundred roles in sales. Alphabet layoffs include dozens at the Division for Developing New Technology, XLab, hundreds in the advertising sales team, hundreds across teams, including the hardware team responsible for Pixel, Nest, and Fitbit, and a majority in the augmented reality team. Microsoft is cutting around 1,900 jobs at gaming divisions Activision, Blizzard, and Xbox. Intel said it would cut more than 15% of its workforce, some 17,500 people, as the chipmaker pursues a turnaround focused on its money-losing manufacturing business. E-commerce firm eBay plans to cut about 1,000 roles, or around 9% of its workforce. Video game software provider Unity Software to cut 25% of its workforce, or 1,800 jobs. DocuSign plans to reduce its workforce by about 6%, or 400 employees. Snap plans to cut around 528 jobs, or 10% of its global workforce. Salesforce is laying off 700 employees, or roughly 1% of its global workforce. We covered Cisco just now. Autonomous vehicle technology company Aurora Innovations laying off 3% of its workforce. Lays off 3% of its workforce. BlackBerry plans more layoffs in addition to about 200 job cuts in the prior quarter. SiriusXM plans to reduce the workforce by about 3%, or 160 jobs. Bumble is set to eliminate 350 jobs, or about 30% of its workforce. Tesla will lay off more than 10% of its global workforce, an internal memo seen by Reuters on Monday shows, as it grapples with falling sales amid an intensifying price war for electric vehicles. EV maker Lucid said it would reduce its workforce by 6%, or cut 400 employees as that company grapples with slower growth. Pixar Animation Studios, producer of the classic films like Toy Story and Up, have been laying off about 14% of its workforce as it scales back development of original streamlining series. 175 people, it says, will be affected by job cuts at the Walt Disney Company unit. Comcast will be cutting 1,000 jobs across businesses this year. I'm going to keep going, okay? Los Angeles Times plans to lay off 94 journalists. Paramount Global is planning to conduct an unspecified number of layoffs. Business Insider plans to lay off around 8% of its staff. I often refer to and share articles from the Business Insider with you guys on this channel. Bell Canada plans to slash 4,800 jobs. PayPal Holdings is planning to cut 2,500 jobs, or 9% of its global workforce. Citigroup is planning to reduce its headcount by 20,000 people over the next 2 years. It's announced plans to slash 716 roles in New York towards that target. Morgan Stanley is planning to cut hundreds of jobs in its wealth management unit. A person familiar with the matter told Reuters, adding that cuts will impact less than 1% of the division's employees. BlackRock is set to cut about 3% of its workforce as it integrates, 3% of its workforce, but expects a larger headcount by the end of 2024. Let's talk about consumer and retail. Walmart plans to cut hundreds of jobs at its corporate headquarters and relocate a majority of its U.S. and Canada-based remote workforce to 3 offices. Estee Lauder plans to cut 3 to 5% of its global workforce. Wayfair, we've discussed that before, plans to lay off 1,650 employees, or 13% of its workforce. U.S. department store Macy's is cutting 2,350 jobs, closing 5 stores. Levi Strauss Company is planning to slash 10 to 15% of its global workforce. Nike will cut 2% of its total workforce, more than 1,600 jobs. Novavax, that's health, is cutting about 12% of the workforce. And defense contractor Lockheed Martin is planning to cut 1% of the jobs. How about United Parcel Service? Plans to cut 12,000 jobs. FedEx is planning to cut between 1,700 and 2,000 back office jobs in Europe as the parcel delivery company struggles with weak freight demand. And U.S. miner Piedmont Lithium cuts 27% of the workforce in cost-cutting plan. Some of these job cuts, you're hearing me say global workforce, but a lot of these thousands, tens of thousands of these jobs are here in the United States, okay? So I thought that list, when you read it and you see it, it's impactful. That's not all-inclusive, okay? That is just a summary of the companies that this article chose to include. But it is far-reaching in many, many sectors. So, guys, if you are an employee, if you work for somebody, if you're not solely reliant on revenue stream that you produce from a business that you own or you control, I think now I've been screaming this from the rooftops for about 10 months now. I think now is the time to consider trying to insulate yourself with some source of side income. And I know everyone says, well, how can we just do that? And it's hard to grapple with and to get your mind around and to come up with something that works. But I think now's the time. If you're not set financially, if you're not retired and have sufficient assets that are not at risk, let's say if the stock market collapses or real estate collapses, I would suggest that you consider starting a business and doing something to insulate yourself so that if worst comes to worst, you're able to put food on the table for your family. You're able to cover an emergency that comes up. You're able to help a family member or a loved one. Okay, I won't go on any further today with that. We have global conflict. Everything is just burning up, and it's sad to see. We have a lot of bad economic things unfolding here in the United States. You wouldn't see it again if you're just reading the headlines today on CNBC and watching the stock market. So with that being said, I'm going to try to do the live stream tomorrow. It's Saturday, so we'll probably maybe touch on some of these things again during the live stream tomorrow. I will try to tee up a time an hour or two in advance so you guys can hopefully jump on. We can have a conversation. I can answer some questions, field some comments. Probably look to do that sometime Pacific Standard Time, maybe mid-afternoon, something like that. So it'll be like maybe late afternoon our time, early dinner time if you're on the East Coast. Hope you guys can join for that. Have a great rest of your day today. I'll be leaving to get a workout in about half an hour. Hope you guys are getting your steps in today, getting your physical fitness routine in order, taking it seriously along with the calorie intake, okay? Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.